This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
And we're back.
So a few weeks ago, I got to go to Georgetown, Colorado. And of course, if you know your history, Georgetown used to be a part of the Kansas territory before we lopped off everything that went to the Continental Divide when we created the state line. And I went out for a Buffalo Bill themed art show. And of course, Buffalo Bill, this is my purpose in life, folks. I am the missionary for Buffalo Bill. So I go to remind these people in Colorado that even though he was buried on the mountainside just a few
Cheyenne
miles,
Mountain,
no, he is buried in Golden. He's overlooking the Coors Plant.
Oh, okay.
Fittingly, he's overlooking the Coors Plant. But I go to remind people that he is, in fact, a Kansan through and through. So that's what I was speaking about there. And in the meantime, got to enjoy some great folks and great scenery. So let's take a look. I had never been to Georgetown, Colorado, and was thrilled when invited by Kyle Banister, organizer of Buffalo Bill Daze, that's spelled D-A-Z-E, an art show with a Buffalo Bill theme at the Georgetown Loop Railroad. It will become an annual event, said Kyle, so get ready for next year. Artist Thom Ross had come up from New Mexico with 5 10-foot-high figures from more than 100 he had done for an installation on the beach in San Francisco a few years ago. Steve Friesen, director of the Buffalo Bill Museum on Lookout Mountain, where Cody is buried, was on hand to visit with tourists and to share copies of his book, Buffalo Bill, Scout, Showman, Visionary. I highly recommend it, and a visit to the grave and museum. On Friday morning, I went with Thom down to the lower railroad station, where his figures were displayed along the creek, situated to greet the tourists as they alighted from the train. We were waiting for the rising sun to illuminate them. We found local photographer Gary Haines already set up and waiting for that moment himself. While we were waiting, Thom and I began the Buffalo Bill diatribe, and poor Gary looked as if he wished the ground would swallow him up. Once we get started, we can't stop. None of us Western history fanatics. Later that day, we rode the train while Barb and Ralph Melfi, portraying Buffalo Bill and Annie Oakley, regaled the tourists with the tales of their colorful lives. The sun was shining, though it took hours to reach the depths of the canyon, and people were smiling. It was good. We talked to tourists about Cody's life, the ordeals of Bleeding Kansas, his time as a scout, a showman, a husband and father. It's an incredible life story, and one with many Kansas connections. That evening, we drank a toast to the man who had brought old friends together and acquainted us with others, soon to become good friends, Buffalo Bill Cody.